He has potential. So how much time do you think you would give him?
Probably max 3 years.
You can't expect someone to build a house with someone else's tools, especially if they have different trade.
Yeah.
You know.
So Ten Hag is a bricklayer, and Ruben is a carpenter.
Like you said, I would give the manager a chance. Don't get carried away with the results just yet. But most of those players are not Premier League players. Like they've always recruited for talent rather than getting people that actually want to fight for the team. Do you think maybe with United and Ruben, do you think he's kind of caught between the transition? Like he might get the structure right, but maybe the results won't be
I mean,
in his favor.
He knew what he was signing up for, man. Like he said it in all his interviews.
Yeah.
That the storm is coming. The players that we have, they're not suited to playing three at the back.
Yeah.
Can't get Ten Hag off my mind. Miss that guy, man. You know. And even the sporting fans, when they said you guys have got one of the greatest managers right now, but you have to be patient. But Ruben has inherited some garbage, like a lot of garbage,
rubbish.
Yeah, Ten Hag. I was pro Ten Hag.
Yeah.
But I know there's some things that he probably got wrong.
Yeah.
But I was a fan of him. I know it didn't really work out how he wanted. I really wanted it to work out because I liked his style of play at Ajax.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Ruud? And do you think United were unfair to rush the decision to get Ruben? So United, they're in ruins. This is rock bottom. And I think you guys are going to get lower from this. I feel like it's not at the point where you guys can go up from here. I feel like you're still going down. Liverpool next. And then who's after that? Arsenal next.
FA Cup.
FA Cup. I feel like United have lost it. They've lost the plot. But at the same time, I feel like right now, more than ever, you can be optimistic.
100%.
Like Ruben Amorim,
100%.
like he's. I feel like he's the type of manager that can ride this wave and come through the other side. Anyways, we got a United fan here. I don't know if you can tell from his eyes, a bit puffy. He's been crying for the last few weeks.
Most loyal United fan.
He's very loyal. When he was born, the doctor, instead of using blankets, they wrapped him in a United jersey.
And I got a scarf as well from birth. You know?
So he's been a fan since birth. When he was 5, he thought he was going to play for United, but then he turned 16 and realized he was only a Sunday League player. So yeah, I got him here today to explain to us what's going on at United, how they can fix the season if they can, or if not, what do you see happening in the next season? Are you optimistic?
Yeah. I mean, you have to be. I feel like I've seen like more rougher patches than this, and we've come back.
You reckon?
Yeah. Like the David Moyes era. Obviously, it's a bit different now because outside of the actual results, I can see improvement, and that's what keeps me going.
Structure,
Yeah. I mean, like over the years, man, we don't really ask for much. We want to see heart, people fighting.
Yeah, the fight has been missing in United for a long time.
Even though like we lose, I can see like, there's patterns of plays that
they're trying at least.
They're trying. Obviously, there's like a few bunch of players that you're like, get out of my club. You know, that some questionable. But in terms of the whole thing that's going on, man, I'm excited. Like I know the results are not showing that right now. It's a business of results.
It is, yes, it is.
But I just hope, they give the guy some time.
How much time tops do you think, if you were the board of director or whatever, sports director or whatever, how much time would you give him? If you look at the results from Sporting and how he went there, obviously he didn't start off on a great side either.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he has potential. So how much time do you think you would give him?
Probably max 3 years. I feel like at least 3 transfer windows to get rid of the dead wood and get in some new personnel and stuff like that. But obviously that's me as a fan. I don't really know how much the board are going to give him.
Yeah,
but
true.
Man, at least 3 transfers to try and bring in. Because obviously it can't be done in one transfer window. There is
And-
no way you're ever going to get rid of 12 players in one transfer.
Yeah, like all these players, people argue that whether they're Ten Hag's players or not. But when I see the starting lineup for United right now, most of those players are Ten Hag players. You know what I mean? So getting a new manager in and expecting him to do the job with his the players that Ten Hag had, which were not really fighters. Maybe some talent here and there, but I know we were talking about this before, how you can't expect someone to build a house with someone else's tools, especially if they have different trade.
Yeah.
You know,
So Ten Hag is a bricklayer and Ruben is a carpenter.
you guys got rid of the bricklayer. Now you got the carpenter in, and you expect him to use a shovel to cut wood.
Man. You need chippy twos, like, you know.
This is dead wood. You can't cut this dead wood with shovels and wheelbarrows and stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I haven't been watching United as much this season.
Unfortunately, I have.
Because
every single game, man.
I like to watch the Premier League, but I like watching matches that actually excite me. Because I have a lot of United fans. When I watch United play, I feel sorry sometimes. Like, fucking hell, like, you know, like, what's going on here, you know? But I can't be a hypocrite because Barcelona started off on a great run, but they're also now finding it hard to actually win a game. So I understand, and I can feel your pain. So if I was you, like you said, I would give the manager a chance. Don't get carried away with the results just yet. The players he has are not really his.
Yeah.
So he can always find a way. And obviously, if you give him time to have a transfer window here and there, and maybe get rid of some players that are not quite up to standard for United, which is why I want to ask you, if you had to choose 5 players that you would keep or 5 players that you want out of the club, how many players do you think United have that are up to standard? 5 players that you would keep.
I think I'll probably be speaking for all United fans, but I'll probably say 5, maybe 5. Actually, 5 would probably being too nice. I mean, ideally,
yeah, very true.
Ideally, you want to see a few of them go, but I'll probably say 5 that I would have to keep, and I'll probably say Lenny Yoro. Yeah. And for me, he's come in and preseason, obviously he's been injured and we haven't really seen a lot of him, but I generally feel that he's got a lot to offer. He's young.
Yeah, he's got potential.
He's got potential. The
ceiling is high for him.
And Kobe Mainoo, I mean, coming off obviously he's another one that was injured in the preseason as well.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So all they're pretty much the young players, the up and coming.
Pretty much. And what's his name? Delete as well. I mean, a lot of people probably think he's old.
You don't want to delete?
Nah. He's a good player, man. He's been on the scene since he was 16 years old, and I think he's only 22, 23 now.
Yeah,
but a lot of people don't realize that because it feels like he's like 28 because Ajax has been around for a while. Ajax captain at 18. I think he's one of those players that you need in a team that like Volko and kind of already have those leadership
he's a leader.
He's a leader. Yeah. Even though he's not wearing the armband, I personally feel like he's a leader and going into the new era. And I think Ruben likes him, which is promising.
That's good.
So that's 3. And so I've said Lenny, Kobe, Matthias, Ahmad. Ahmad. I think he's done.
This is a new proper season. He was around last season at the end.
He was around, but he just was never given the chance. I don't know why, which I probably think is one of the reasons why Ten Hag was let go.
He's stubborn,
He was on loan and he was the best player in the championship. And when he came back, he was playing.
And you could see glimpses
like he's doing well. He started 2 games, he scored, and then Ten Hag benched him to play Anthony. And I'm just thinking like I'm not a coach, I'm not a professional football coach, but it's things that you just see like, what are you doing, man? Like, you know, I feel like he's a good, like, not just in terms of talent, but just his work rate. I rate that. You don't have to be the best player in the world, but it's just how, like, you know,
it's your attitude.
Your attitude. From the back, he's good defending, going forward.
Yeah. All in all, overall, he's a player you want in your team.
Pretty much. And I think Ruben has come in and obviously he's seen a little bit, but I think he's been surprised of how well he's done and suited his formation. Because since he's come in, he's played like 2 positions. He's played as a wing back and as a 10. And I think he's done pretty good. He's done pretty well.
All right, so that's 4.
4. And
last but not least,
this one I'm a bit half because I feel like he's played in a United team that doesn't really cross the ball. So I feel like we can't really judge him. You can't really judge a striker that doesn't get service. You know? Like, I don't even know, man. Like,
let me guess. Hoyland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's got the right ingredients.
Right ingredients. He's got potential. He's still young. He's a fighter. The attitude's good.
He's good.
So overall, I feel like he's a player that would make it in a lot of teams.
Yeah.
If he had the right manager and the right system, I feel like he would thrive.
Yeah. Because I think I was looking at the stats the other day, like, just out of curiosity, and I think he's had an average of 2 touches in the opposition box.
That's not good.
Like,
that's not good.
That is like, that's a terrible stat. And if you watch the United games, arguably the person who's meant to be our best fullback, I've never seen a single cross from Dalot going in the box. Not even a single one.
You guys are missing Luke Shaw for sure. Because
he's though?
Because he's the type of guy that actually crosses balls.
But man,
he puts crosses in. What is happening with Shaw?
I think I'm at the end with that guy, man. Just like, where I'm like, he has to go.
When a player is hardly available, is he just there collecting money?
He has to go.
Yeah. So now let's transition to players that you want to leave your club.
Luke Shaw is probably on my top list. I think, like, man, he's a good player. Mm-hmm. Just like the amount of times he's there are not enough to be like, we want to keep you and even renew his contract. And I feel like it's just going to get worse because as you get older,
the worse the injuries get.
Yeah. So he will be on my number 1 list. And following him will be Mason Mount. I was a massive fan of Mason Mount at Chelsea. When he first broke through on the scene, I felt like he was a really good talent. But it just happens with these young English. Same thing with Dele Alli, man.
What happened to him? Anyways, we'll get carried away with him because he's a nutcase. He's a case of his own.
Mason Mount, I feel like we've given him a season and a half, and he's probably only played 25 games in those 2 years.
And collecting money.
You don't want that for someone on 200,000 a week. We can get so many better players with that much money. Not even that much money. Half of that, we can get a decent player that will come in and change the team.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then another one probably be Zersky. I know he's
I never understood why they bought him.
That's the thing though. That's the thing, you know?
He's a player I look at. I'm like, what is he doing? Not just at United, but in the Premier League. He's not a Premier League player.
He's not a Premier League player. I think we can all agree on that. He's not a Premier League player. I think the Premier League is just too fast for him.
It's too fast and just too physical. He looks
lethargic, you know, like he's not interested.
He gave me Ozil vibes without the skills.
At least when Ozil had the ball, you knew like something
he was gonna
magical.
do something,
yeah. Like
the vision.
I don't mind that you're lazy, but as soon as you get the ball, people
open
like,
up the defense.
But he doesn't give much.
None of that.
He scored 2 goals and probably
the first one was pure. I was gonna say luck. It was just a small touch. Got in.
Nothing special.
He doesn't give you much, eh?
Nah. That's what I mean. I don't actually understand what was the thought process in like, let's get that.
How much was it? Like 40 mil?
I think it was 40. 40?
Jeez.
Yeah. But, you know.
Bought him from Bologna.
He had a good season though, like last season.
Yeah, but this is what I was talking about. Some people they see a player have a good season. Maybe they've had a couple of games here and there. But if the whole overall team did good, or they just start picking players that, he must have been the reason why they did good. And they just buy him for like crazy amounts of money.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to me.
Nah.
A player needs to have at least 2 good seasons for a team to look at him and say, we're going to spend around 40 to 50 million. Rather than just say, have one good season, let's get him.
That's the thing, but that's a business these days.
I think that's why that's the problem with United now, because Ten Hag, you know, when Ajax had that good season, and then Ten Hag was like, this is my team. And then they bought Ten Hag. And then Ten Hag was like, I know these players, we had a good season. If I get these players, we'll do good. But most of those players are not Premier League players.
Yeah. Especially like Anthony would probably be one of them. Like when he was at Ajax, probably one of the best players in Europe at the time, you know.
Don't get me started with the fidget spinner.
He's just lost the confidence, man. I don't
even know if it's the confidence. I feel like he was never that good for $100 million. I feel like at most 50 mil.
The thing is, like with these prizes, a player is valued what his club thinks he's worth. Like if you go to
but
Barcelona and say, we want Lamine Yamal, and they say $400 million because that's how much they value him. To you, he might not be worth 400 million, but if you want him, that's what you have to pay.
True.
Which I think is like, you know, the business these days. You get players who are, obviously, he's come off a good season, and they have every right because they want to make money as well.
Yeah.
They're a club that makes money, so you have to pay it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing these days. I think even like, you know, that's the thing though, like, I like how Liverpool do their recruitment.
Yeah.
If they go and say, we want this player, and then they say like money that's not, you know, in their budget, they walk away.
I think the most they've ever spent on the player, Liverpool, was Van Dijk.
Yeah. And
he was well worth it.
50 million.
Because they knew he was him.
With the amount of money that's been spent on players, 50 million like seems
It's
like
chump change, bro. But yeah, United just needs. I feel like in the past couple of years, even maybe since Alex left, like they've always recruited for talent rather than getting people that actually want to fight for the team. You know what I mean?
But Ferguson used to do that though, because
but he'll get a couple of them in there, but he won't get the whole team of just talent rather than just people who are gonna fight for the team. You know?
Yeah.
Like for example, Neville. Neville is not a talent, but he'll fight. You know?
But that was like he had like the pride of like coming in from like, you know, that group of like David Beckham, Paul Scholes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like back then, you know, they had passion. It was not money motivated.
Exactly.
I feel like these days, you know, I'm like people are just like too many agents.
Yeah, you know? too many people, too many middlemen.
Too many middlemen.
Yeah.
There's not like that real passion anymore. That the game is involved. It's evolved, you know.
But what is passion? Like, is passion City, for example? They've won what 4 or 5 league titles in the past 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, like they've had the money to buy players and they've recruited well, but it also comes down to the manager as well. You know what I mean? Because I feel like City, without Pep, they probably would have won maybe 1 or 2 titles. Still would have won something, you know? Because I think they won like 2 titles before Pep showed up.
I think City is just really good with their recruitment.
That's the thing.
Because if you look like all the value of their players, like no one has ever come to City and you'd be like, this guy was a star before.
No.
Like
it's never like maybe Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland.
You know,
obviously, yeah. I think that's the first ever player that they've.
Yeah.
Like if you look at De Bruyne, he was like a reject
from Chelsea.
He didn't even have a decent season at Wolfsburg. Like before he came.
Yeah.
And Pep has turned him into one of the best players ever.
Yeah, I feel like City kind of have the same recruitment process as Liverpool does. Like they don't splash crazy amounts of money. You see a lot of teams come to City and buy players for crazy amounts of money, but City has never done that. Even Doku, for example, no one even really knew who Doku was.
Nah.
You know, but now if a player wants to sign him from City, they probably have to pay double what City paid.
But what do you think that is though? Like, why do you think like when Man United go and ask for a player, they're telling us 80 million, and City go, they can probably get away with paying 50 million for it?
I don't think it's about getting away with paying that amount of money. I feel like it's just the way the scouts scout these players. So say, for example, City or Pep will say, I want a player that has, you know, A, B, C. Yeah. Maybe you can get away with not having D. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if he has at least these 3 things, I want him. It doesn't matter what player it is. But I also want that player to have, for example, this attitude. And then they go look for that player and they give him a list. And out of 3 players who choose, like, I want that one. And the club will be like, he's too expensive. For the amount of money you want to spend on this player, you could probably spend half on this player and he'll do the same job.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, oh, we want De Jong, for example. United want De Jong and they just want to get him when they could get someone else who probably plays the same position, same play style for half that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like, you know, optimistic about the future, because I feel like the background stuff, you know, kind of being resolved. I mean, it didn't really go well with the Dan Ashworth, who's like the kind of like the director of football and stuff like that, like who was like leading the recruitment.
Yeah.
And they've gone, you're gone, which is before we've had people in that role
Yeah.
who didn't really know what we're doing, and they still like kept their jobs. So I kind of like this new approach. Like, you know, we'd like to solve the backroom stuff
Yeah.
before you, because if your backroom stuff is terrible, you know, like in today's football, man, you need like, I think they have like more than 15 coaches.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like how much of football where it's like one coach that's, you know, have to do like everything yourself.
I have a hot take. So you see what's happening with Chelsea, and how obviously they kind of changed the whole back room. You know, the owners, new owners, and all that. They got new managers within like every 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, do you think maybe with United and Ruben, do you think he's kind of caught between the transition and this is the wrong time to be managing right now?
Yeah, 100%.
Because I feel like Ruben might be the exact same as what Pochettino was to Chelsea. Where he comes, he gets a structure, he kind of makes sure everything is correct, but the results might be his worst nightmare, like his enemy, for example.
But the thing about Pochettino, though, he had a large bucket to pick what really kind of suits his system. Like Ruben had come into like 22 dead players. Bro, Chelsea have like more than 40 players on their books.
But you could say the same way you could say, yeah, Chelsea recruited a lot of players, but none of those players were up to standard to what you expect the Chelsea team to be. They just had a lot of young talent.
Oh, man, but there's a difference, like, though, because like
no attitude.
Surely you can get out of 40 plus players, you can at least find like the right like raw ingredients to mold into like what you want. Like,
are we only saying that because Chelsea's doing good now? Because if they were doing terrible, we would have been like, "Oh, Chelsea, what a dead club! The recruitment process is rubbish." You know, I feel like maybe Maresca has found the formula.
Did he really sign anyone though?
He did. Sancho, Felix, Neto. They sound like 4 or 5 players.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like it's the kind of signings they're making. They're not like
But we also have to remember, like, when
breaking the bank.
When
you know
Pochettino took that transition, Chelsea had like a transfer ban.
Did they?
That's around the time they had that 3-year transfer ban, and then they kind of came back and
signed everyone. Yeah.
So like, he didn't really have like, and then after
so he started on a clean slate.
So after they signed all those players, right, that obviously put them above like the financial fair play, and they couldn't really sign anyone.
Are you sure that's when he came in? Because I'm pretty sure it was Tuchel time.
Nah, it was roughly when he left. That's when they got imposed the transfer ban. I mean, you probably look it up later.
But yeah, so going back to United, do you think United, this transition period is going to be Ruben's enemy? In terms of like, he might get the structure right, but maybe the results won't be
I mean,
in his favor.
He knew what he was signing up for, man. Like, he said it in all his interviews that the storm is coming and that people should not expect a lot. You know, he needs the fans.
He might be a Graham Potter.
And just be with him while we do. And
you can say all that.
Bro, he could have easily come in and said, "Oh, we're gonna do this," because he knows, like, if it's a tweak to make that team work. Obviously, the players that we have, they're not suited to playing 3 at the back.
Yeah.
But is it really worth it though that we like solve short-term problems, you know, but it's gonna affect us long-term, and then we just go back where we started, you know? He's taken that approach and say that, all right, I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to use this system that I know that's worked for me in the past. Like you said, if you look at his Ajax stats, like when he first started.
Sporting, you mean?
Yeah, Sporting.
Yeah.
I can't get 10 out of my mind. Miss that guy, man. He's Sporting, you know, and even the Sporting fans, when they said, you guys have got one of the greatest managers right now, but you have to be patient with him because
he didn't start off amazingly at Sporting either. So
even, you know, Klopp, it's same situation.
Yeah, he had
I generally think it's the same situation right now, even though the results might not be the same. But Ruben has inherited some garbage, like a lot of garbage,
rubbish.
Yeah, and I think like even when I've seen like a few of like Ten Hag interviews, I don't think he was even responsible for some of those signings. Like Zersky.
Nah, I don't think he was.
He didn't, because he's come in and he said he didn't even want him to be but because I don't even think United thought that Ten Hag was going to be the manager this season.
So they were signing for their own benefit.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think
what are your feelings on Ten Hag?
I like Ten Hag. I was pro Ten Hag.
Yeah.
But I know there's some things that he probably got wrong.
Yeah.
But I was a fan of him. I know it didn't really work out how he wanted. I really wanted to work out because I liked his style of play at Ajax.
Yeah.
And I really wish that he
could have implemented
that rather than working,
what he's got.
Yeah, with what he got, because I think he wanted to accommodate the players that he had, and which I feel like Ruben knows that, and he's come in and he said, right, if you don't suit my system, you won't play. Even Rashford, man, he's missing 4 games.
All right, so we'll fast forward from Ten Hag to Ruud van Nistelrooy. What were your thoughts on Ruud? And do you think United were unfair to rush the decision to get Ruben? Do you think they should have given him a chance, at least maybe until January, for example?
No.
Because he started off all right. He was getting the results that you guys were craving. So do you think they should have just given him a couple months in January when they realized, maybe he's not the guy. Maybe he got us, he gave us a boost, but we need someone with structure start in January or even end of the season, for example. Because right now, you guys can throw this season away.
That manager bounce is actually dangerous because I feel like we've been down that path with Ole. That guy was only meant to come in to manage 5 games. He's won 5 games and the board gets excited. But in the 2 years he was there...
Was it that bad though?
Man,
Did he finish second or third at some point?
Yeah, Ole was vibes, bro. That was during COVID where there was no supporters.
Yeah.
Ole was vibes. Like, he had no game plan.
He win a game that you don't expect to win, but lose the one that you expect to win.
And this is why, like, in this business, man, I feel like it's all about people management. He was good at that. But eventually, it will catch up to you.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've seen Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti this year.
Yeah.
Like that, like... I know like people rate Carlo, but I don't think that he's like among like those top.
He's not a tactical genius, but he's. I would compare Carlo Ancelotti to Alex Ferguson. He's a man. He's like a team manager. He's a man manager. He knows how to get the best out of a player.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he knows how to motivate a player to be at his best. He knows when some players are not good, and he'll either try to sell them or just whatever, put them on the bench. He just knows how to manage players. So for me, he gives me Sir Alex, vibes rather than like a Pep vibe. He's definitely not Pep. Nah.
In terms of like tactical, nah.
Nah, he doesn't know what he's doing.
The games that he's won, like with Real Madrid, it's just Real Madrid.
Just play, yeah.
It's just like
players just like,
like just the pride of like we're Real Madrid and
true
Champions League.
It's the passion. Yeah.
It's the passion. You know, like. That I think it was Man City when I was like, damn, like what is going on? Like I think Man City was up, like I think it was 3-1.
Yeah.
Like 88 minutes in the Champions League.
And it was when was it the time before they changed the away goal rules?
Yeah.
So one goal could have just like it could have lost it all.
You can't really take that and say, wow, what a coach. Like it's just
some players just had to rise to the occasion and take it away.
Pretty much.
Benzema scoring, what was it, a hat trick or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like all it was.
Yeah.
But that's why I felt like if we had kept, if we had waited, how do we know that Ruben would have, still been available? And if you look right now, there's not really like good managers floating around.
You guys had a chance to sign Thomas Tuchel, and I think you guys didn't want to sign him.
I think he actually denied United.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
And then United came on an interview. They said, we're looking for coaches, but we didn't find anyone better than Ten Hag.
Nah.
I think that ruined Ten Hag's confidence.
Man, it's like what you were saying before. You're on holidays right now and you go back to work, and you're told that.
And your manager tells you,
well, we've been looking for someone to replace you, but it's all good.
Yeah,
we can't find someone. You can continue working.
Yeah,
until we you know, we find someone.
Yeah, I'll start looking for another job straight
Obviously,
away.
Yeah, and not even that. Just the passion for you to work is not the same. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you
You're
want
not
to be
motivated
somewhere
anymore.
where you feel like
Because you're not wanted there.
you're loved.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, you know, it plays a big part, and I think they got it wrong in the summer. When they realized that it's come out, they should have parted ways with him.
Like-
And they had the time.
I feel like where they were stuck with the decision is after he won the FA Cup.
But they
And they
started
were like-
recruiting after he won the FA Cup.
Eh?
They started looking for a manager after he won the FA Cup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they were stuck between the two. Because if he had lost the FA Cup, they would have sacked him and then start looking. That's how it usually works. You don't start looking while the manager's there.
And do you remember
In
when
secret, you can, but I feel like when the manager's still there, it's hard to start looking for other managers. I feel like just sack the manager and then now you have no choice but to look for a manager. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But you were going to say?
I think it was Mourinho or something that was qualified for a final.
This is the Tottenham one.
Yeah,
He was managing Tottenham and
Yeah,
then he
and
got sacked
just before the
week
final.
before the final, yeah. They should have done that with Ten Hag, eh?
like that Man City game masked a lot of things because
That went wrong in the season, yeah.
yes, you've won an FA Cup, but let's review the season in like overly like
Yeah, just review the whole thing.
How well do we think that we've done?
Yeah,
Like I think we finished 8th.
yeah.
The only reason why we qualified for Europa League was
Yeah.
because we won the FA Cup.
That's another thing as well. I feel like when you guys played City that day, I think City was still hangover from celebrating
Pretty much.
the Premier League.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean?
And
I think Pep showing up in his suit didn't help him because I've never seen this guy wear a suit in the Premier League, and then this day he decides to show up in his suit. You know,
I can't lie right now. The only thing that's keeping me going is that City's results. Like,
I mean, City might be doing bad, but they're fifth.
that's the
I
thing
don't know
about-
how that's.
I don't know.
Even,
Yeah, that's even
it's not
possible.
competing with me.
'Cause
How
I feel like
they-
they've lost like 10 games, but I think it's
In a
just a
row.
mixture of like all the games.
They started
together.
good. I think the first 9 games they were on top of things, even though they were winning games that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But then the last 9 games, I think they've lost like maybe 6 or 7 out of 9 games. You know, so yeah, that's the only thing keeping them afloat.
But I'm happy with the Ruben appointment, man. I think on a tactical level, I think he's up there.
Yeah,
He has a plan. He has a plan. You can see it even like it's not quite there, but you can see it in patches. Like, you know, like the build up from the back. Like, it's only this season that I actually feel comfortable with Onana setting the ball up
yeah,
and actually starting to play from the back. Like the previous seasons,
yeah.
he was just as soon as he put the ball down, man, my anxiety levels would just skyrocket
through the roof.
yeah. And this season, man, like the Man City game, I think before Ahmad was fouled,
yeah.
I think it was a passage of play where we actually did like more than 20 passes.
Oh yeah, so you could see the vision.
You can see the vision, you know. I know it's like quite not there, man.
Yeah.
It's my biggest worry is that it's a business of results and
he might get
the pressure.
sacked. He might get sacked before
Before
you
he-
see what he wants.
Yeah, and then we just start again.
yeah.
And man, if I could somehow get whoever's in charge's phone number, like put the brakes down, man.
Yeah. Let him do his
Let
thing.
him do his thing.
You
You
know?
know, I don't think it's gonna be that bad where we're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna be relegated. Because firstly, I think that there are so many teams below us that are more terrible than, you know, what we are. I think that right now it's just a rough patch because of the Christmas period.
Yeah.
A game every second day, it's not gonna help.
All right. So
Especially if you're right, like, you know, you're low on confidence.
yeah.
Usually you get like an international break or something, then you kind of get a time to
You get
reset.
time to
Yeah.
see how the team is.
But right now, man, it's just like,
All right. So to finish this off, I'm going to ask you, where do you think United will finish this season?
like where I want them to finish or where they're gonna finish.
Where you can combine the two
Oh,
together.
man, like right now, I don't even know because like it's just right now it's
Yeah, but I think the games will get easier. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
like you said, this whole December.
But that's funny because like we played Southampton not long ago. They're bottom, and it was just hard. But
Yeah.
you know, we're gonna get more breathing time. You know, the games where you play a game and then You get a week.
So,
But you know, I think that we have players who are suited to play in Europe.
yeah.
So I think that Champions League spot might still be up there. Because if you look at Erasmus's gameplay, he's the top goal scorer in Europa League because Europe suits his style of play. Even Zerski.
Yeah, before we go to Europe, what do you think they'll finish in the league? In the Premier League?
I think just above 10.
You reckon?
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
Well, I mean,
teams in the top 10.
where if you, I saw like Tottenham fans laughing at us. They're only 2 points above us.
All right, I'll mention 10 teams. Tell me if you can finish above any of these teams. So you get Liverpool.
No.
I'll do the top 4. You don't have to say no because we're definitely going to finish in the top. You got Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, Chelsea, City. 5. You're definitely not going to finish above them.
I think
now
I might disagree with that Chelsea one, man. I feel like
you're not going to finish above Chelsea.
I think they're going to get found out. I think it's already
yeah,
started.
but
showing,
even if they
cracks.
do, they win maybe every second game. You guys don't want to catch up to them. All right, so yeah, five teams you can't finish above. Newcastle, Aston Villa. So we're on 7 now.
7.
What other teams I can say that you guys think you can't finish above? Brighton.
I don't think Brighton is as good as.
They're not as good, but I don't think you guys will finish ahead of Brighton. And then you go Tottenham.
But you know we're only like
and that's
not even halfway
that's
mark
9.
yet.
Yeah, I know. You're halfway now.
I think we just reached halfway
So
now,
that's I've mentioned 9 teams. You got Tottenham, Brighton in there as well. Do you think you can finish above any of these teams?
I think we can finish above Brighton.
All right.
Tottenham is 2 points above us. And
How about Brentford?
I think we can finish above them as well.
You reckon?
Yeah. Like, I just think that this rough period of games, once that finishes, we're going to start, you know, getting some points on board. We just need a time to reset, like, because like right now it's not there because like, you know.
Yeah, because you guys are only 13 points behind Chelsea?
Pretty much.
So,
and Chelsea has already dropped, I think 6 points already from.
They've dropped.
I think they drew last week.
Dropped 8 points in the last 3 games.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna get found out
because they lost this morning. Well, wherever you're watching this, they lost against Ipswich, lost against Fulham, and drew against Everton. So they've lost 8 points in the last 3 games.
I think it's just gonna get worse.
But yeah.
But people just keep Man United is terrible, Man United is terrible. That they even forget that their teams are, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just the.
If you guys can string some results together, you guys might find yourself in the top 10 straight away.
Yeah.
If you win 3 games in a row, I think you'll be in the top 10.
Pretty much after Liverpool, then we'll start. You know.
Well, you think you'll beat Arsenal?
That's
Is
FA
Arsenal
Cup
next?
though. That's FA Cup.
No, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's looking. I think it's gonna be a bright season after January.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys might get some time to actually, you know, start putting results together.
I would have loved some business in January, but it just doesn't seem possible.
Nah.
I mean, we need a goal scorer. We've gone like 3 games, 128. I think it's 128 minutes without a goal.
Jeez, that's bad.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, guys, if you guys are as optimistic as Mr. Ralph here is, let us know. But if you disagree and you think that Ruben is not going to last, let us know as well. While you're there, while you're commenting, there's a button right on the top of the video. Just click on that, subscribe. You know, we want to continue to bring new guests like this any chance we get. So yeah, just don't forget to, like the video as well. We appreciate you so much. And goodbye from me.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, all good.
A platform to cry,
Yeah. All right. Peace
Peace out.